Hey guys, let's have a RaxPack chat. So, instead of recording Sky Factory this week, I thought I would do a RaxPack chat and put it in the slot for Sky Factory, so that you guys were more likely to see it, just due to the way that YouTube organizes your sub boxes. Because I want you guys' input on things. You are looking at a very early alpha of the RaxPack. The RaxPack is my own, RaxPack 2, to be more specific. Because RaxPack has already been and gone. This is the RaxPack 2. You are looking at a very early alpha of RaxPack 2, which is something I'm working on for 1.11.2. And the reason I want to work on 1.11.2 and not 1.10 is because I am constantly striving to make sure people are moving forward and not just sitting on versions because that's what FTB says they should be doing. So, here we are in this world. I'm going to go down a list with you to let you know what is in the pack so far, and then we'll talk about some things to do with that. So, the first thing in our list is the Akashic Tome. This is alphabetical, by the way, so it might not make total sense in the order that I list it, but the Akashic Tome lets you put books in it. So, that's the Akashic Tome. I can't remember, honestly, off the top of my head, how to put books in it. But you can. Let's try and find a book, like Cooking for Blockheads. We'll get back to that one in a second. Here's Cooking for Blockheads. Do I do a thing with you? I think I remember, actually. I think... creative mode. Why don't you craft them together? Right, so that's... Yep, that is what you do. Alright. So now we have Cooking for Blockheads. And that just changes it into the Akashic Tome, and because I'm in creative, I can access all the different recipes in that Cooking for Blockheads book. Anyway, that's Akashic Tome. We have apple core and apple skin, because we're going to have a lot of food type stuff in the set of mods that we have. Apple core being the basis for a lot of nice API stuff for food related mods, and apple skin being something which helps the UI. And we have attained drops. I think somewhere around here I had a little playful setup I was doing. If I can find it. If not, I will briefly show you what that's all about. I can't see it. Alright. So, Attain Drops is all about growing mob drops, because I know some of you that like to play RaxPack like to focus on your base and not necessarily on killing things. So what you want to do is you want to craft vitalized soil, and you make that out of any kind of dirt, a couple of eggs and some mob farm and a mob drop plant seed, and you get life essence apple and seeds to craft that, and life essence you get from killing things. And in the meantime, you've seen that the blocks around this vitalized soil planter are slowly turning into unenriched vitalized soil. How do you enrich them? Well, you could get a ghast here, or you could get some zombie flesh, some rotten flesh, and that vitalizes the soil, and then you need more of those seeds. I'm basically doing a tiny spotlight on this, aren't I? And then you plant more seeds on top of that, and that indicates to the soil what kind of mob drop you want to make. And bone meal does work on it. Not sure how I feel about that, but whatever. And you get these pretty little things on top. So that's a gas plant. It uses a lot of bone meal. It's got a very low rate of success with bone meal, which I guess is part of the balance for that. And then if I go into survival, which will reveal more things to you, and break this, we'll get some rotten flesh. If I break this, I'll get a ghast tear, and these can continue growing from this point, actually. So they need to grow all the way up to maturity, and then they have a chance to grow the pod on top. So let's go back to creative. We've also installed Better with Mods. I won't go too deep into this one. Better with Mods is a revival of Better Than Wolves, a very old, a very, 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 very old mod that was notorious by its author, but is actually a really good mod, has been brought into the modding scene. So now we have things like saw, we have the mechanical engine system with gearboxes, axles, and where are you? Where are you? Windmills and watermills and vertical windmills and that sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff embedded with mods. And then we have Better Builders Wands, which is basically a other mod author's attempt at bringing the Builder's Builder's Wand out from R.W. Temmer's mod and making it a standalone thing, which is pretty cool. So you can make everything from a stone wand, iron wand, diamond wand, and you can see there they have a max amount of blocks that they can affect at a time. And then you can have an unbreakable wand, and then you can start combining them to get more max blocks being able to be affected by the wand at once. So that's pretty cool. Then we've got a bit of foliage. You've already seen this in action. It's one that's making all these nice little puffy bits of grass all over everything. It's also making sure that there's grass on the sides of one high grass block. So you can see if it's too high, it actually has the normal grass border, but if it's one high, it's got a full grass side. And fluffy trees. This can have quite a performance hit on some people's machines, so it is encouraged to turn that off if you are going to be playing the RaxPack in the future, if you do not have the best machine in the world. There is a few more things that Better Foliage does. For instance, it makes these nice little water reeds in different places. It just spruces up your environment basically. Without any shaders or anything, it just looks nicer. Less bare, I guess. And then we have Blood Magic. Now, Blood Magic isn't actually installed at the moment, as you can see. And the reason for that is there's quite an awful crash that's happening with Blood Magic, which seems completely random. And I have to get hold of Way of Time, who's been mysteriously hard to get hold of. But I will try, because I need to report that to him. When you do certain actions, it seems that there is an out-of-bounds check on blood tanks, but that can happen whether there's a blood tank around or not. It's very strange. Then also something which again points out the fact that this is alpha. I'm using the dev version of Chisel, so you can see there's things that are showing up here, and they look very funny in the world. Default hashtag bricks. I think you can place these, just place as a block. But yes, we have Chisel, because Chisel is going to follow me to the ends of the earth, or I'm going to follow it to the ends of the earth, probably more precisely. Following that, we also have Chisels and Bits, which I started trying to show you guys when I tried to do my 1.8 series, but that series kind of went sour very quickly. But yes, chisels and bits. If you're not familiar with what chisels and bits can do, look no further than its ability to modify any block you come across in wonderful and wacky ways. Alright, so that's chisels and bits. And then we have cooking for blockheads. This is going to be so important to you guys, and the reason for that is because I've included a lot of survival stuff in this version of the RaxPack too. If we go back into survival, you'll see that we have tough as nails installed. We also have spice of life, which I'm probably going to double mention as I forget in this conversation. Same with tough as nails. But we have those two involved, and Pam's Harvest Craft. So cooking for blockheads will make all of that stuff a lot easier to deal with. So, following that, we have Craft Tweaker. Now this is going to be a big part of the conversation we're going to have with this video later on, not right now. For those that are unaware of what Craft Tweaker does, it lets you tweak recipes and or dictionary stuff and a lot of other things, really, little things, which basically allows a pack creator to customize the experience to work more cohesively with the mods involved. I've already at this point created a script that allows me to have two mods, which we're going to go into mentioning soon, to work better together because they weren't. And I suspect I've got a lot of work ahead of me with Craft Tweaker, but that's going to be all part of the conversation. This version of Craft Tweaker is in fact another dev version, same as Chisel. So until those things become release, then I won't be making the pack public, obviously. That's also going to be part of the conversation. So that, though, it will depend on when those things go public, how soon RaxPack 2 can be in your hands. We also have dual hotbar. Now, you've probably already noticed this. I've got 2 levels of hotbar on my hotbar. What the heck is going on? You can also access the things by pressing the respective number a second time. So to access the top row in position 1, I hit 1 twice. 1 for the first one, 1 for the second one. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Right? And your top row is the top of your inventory, as you can see. So I think that's just ridiculously useful, because 10 is not enough. It's never been enough for me, and I know it's not enough for a lot of you. So that's going into the pack, because part of why I make RaxPack in the first place is to shine a light on some lesser known mods in the first place. It's something that I like to do, is bring things that I think are awesome to the forefront. Speaking of awesome to the forefront, we have Earthworks. Now that both mods have been mentioned, I can mention that the script I was writing was to make Earthworks and Better Than With mods work well together. And the reason is because they both add dirt balls and sand, and they both had recipes. They both had recipes for 4 each equals 1 sand, except they were 2 separate recipes, which means there was conflict. So I've had to remove the old recipes and then create an ore dicta version of that recipe. So you can see I have a custom ore dictionary entry called dust sand, and it's the same with dirt. As dust dirt. Why dust? Because that seems to be a common unifying factor. Anyway, let's get back to earthworks. So earthworks is neat. I'm always into aesthetically pleasing mods which provide awesome things to build with, and earthworks is one of those things. The bottom half of the screen is pretty exciting. Also the top half of the screen. Around the place you will find chalk. I think this is some here. Yes. Chalk is used for to make a chalk block or to make quicklime. And then quicklime is used to make a slaked lime or lime plaster. Slaked lime is used to make lime plaster, so all in the end you're trying to get plaster, and that lets you make things like cordwood, lathen plaster, concrete. So lathen plaster is wood covered in lime plaster. It's got all sorts of interesting building materials like that, so you can imagine somewhere inside this block is timber which has been painted carefully with lime plaster. But you can make cinder blocks. Cinder blocks are made from concrete. Concrete is made from lime plaster, gravel and sand. You can make adobe and adobe out of adobe bricks. Adobe bricks are made with wheat, clay and sand. This is another one of those ones that I had to fix. Anywhere there was sand or dirt, I've had to fix it. Cob. You make cob out of mud and clay and wheat. And cob looks pretty neat. Looks like this doesn't connect, but that's alright. It has a kind of unique look on its own. And cordwood is pretty neat. It randomizes, which is nice. But it's kind of an old style building materials. A lot of these are primitive building style materials, which is something which is really cool, and I've thought have been missing for a while now, because ironically in our modern world, in real life, these kinds of building materials are coming back in style. It's pretty cool. And we've got slate and polished slate, lathen plaster, rammed earth, mud, timber. Timber is used to make cordwood. Wattle and dab. Is it wattle and dab? I don't know how to pronounce that. Wicker, which is made of wheat and sticks. Reed blocks, which are made from sugar canes. Fortunately, both Quark and Earthworks have this awesome integration with each other, where you can tweak certain things in the configs to get things working nicely together. And then you get into awesome stuff like this, where it's a little tricky to understand at first, but see, I already picked the wrong one. I'm looking for you. Am I looking for you? Yeah, I'm looking for you. Where you can start doing things like old style plaster buildings, which is pretty cool. I'm looking for a very specific block. I shouldn't really be doing this in the middle of a thing, but as you can see, you can make big bordered things, and intentionally too, because it's not a connected situation, right? Because of how many different styles of connection you can make. You don't necessarily want it to be connected and do it automatically. You want as much control over that as possible, because we're creative people and we like to do that stuff. So moving on from Earthworks, we have Embers. Embers is awesome. It's by Lucent, who also does Roots and has prolifically done other mods as well, but he's pretty set on putting all his passion into Roots and Embers at the moment. Roots is nature, Embers is dwarves. Embers lets you make some awesome things like the crystal cell, and there's a lot of stuff in here that has pretty things going on. Hearth coil, which is like a giant grill basically. These are all multi-blocks because they're easy to show off without me having to do much. One thing I will show off though, just to give you an idea of the technical level of Embers, because it is technically a tech mod, I guess you would say. Just due to the fact there's interoperating things going on. It's kind of like Thorncraft, I guess. Thorncraft to me was always a bit of a technological mod with a magical skin, and I would say the same is true for Embers. Need a hopper. There we go. Wait, there we go. Alright. Just had to make sure. Ember. Let's just put like the biggest crystals in here we can. You can see we've got some nice little like things going on now. Let me pull up this. Let's get a gauge on there. Now we can read how much Ember is actually in the thing. Ember is the energy source if you hadn't figured that out yet. Ember emitter, which needs a lever. I wonder if it can take a direct redstone signal. I imagine it can. And then we will... Whoops. That's not what I meant to grab. Where's the hearth coil? There we go. Put you a bit closer just to make sure that this works properly. Because I'm not sure. Here is a mechanical core. Alusina has a pretty good video out on how this stuff works, which is basically what I'm emulating by doing this in the first place. But now I can grab a Tinker's Hammer, wherever it may be. Boop, 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 boop. There it is. And no, I think I should. Yep. There we go. And if I turn it on, it sends Ember to the hearth coil, which lights up, and then I can grab some porky pork, good old porky chop, and it will slowly cook. It takes a while to heat up, is what Mr. Man said. So I'm going to trust Mr. Man on that. And if you want to get your pork out of the system, again, this is why it's a tech mod and not as deceptive as it may seem. Because you need an item pump, then you need a item pipe, you need a chest. Stick a chest on there, grab a lever, which is in my inventory, pop that there, turn that on, and our pork chop has been retrieved. Cool. So you drop things on there, like some delicious steak, like some delicious beef, and things will slowly cook up and go into this chest. Pretty rad. So that's Embers, and then we have extra bit manipulation. Extra bit. Best way to describe what this thing is all about is like more control over what your stuff is doing in terms of chisels and bits. So there we go. Just put a half sphere that's bigger than a block into that stuff, right? And then you can actually make this thing do a, rather than dig, you can make it place. So I'm going to whack, whack, whack. I said whack. Alright. I haven't actually got all of the way into trying this thing out, but you get the idea. It does work, I promise. I'm just being useless at showing it off. But it's extra tools for doing stuff, like sculpting spade and modeling tool. Modeling tool is freaking awesome. Check this out. Corner. Sure. There we go. I'm not sure what that's showing, actually. Maybe if we come out here, we'll be able to see better. Sort of. You can see it's trying to model the world around us. as a miniature block thing. Corner drawn, centered. Yeah, that's slightly better. We get the edge of a tree. There's a whole tree. All right. Anyway, you get the point. Moving on. Fast leaf decay. If I broke a tree, smash this tree. Smash the system. Thing breaks down quickly. I've always hated the way that leaves stick around forever. It's never made any sense to me. Flat coloured blocks. So that's in here. Can't really. Oh dear. Let's just grab a bunch of dye. Just dye, all the dyes. And then just grab some cobblestone. And suddenly everything appears in here. And this is for chisels and bits. It's an assistant to chisels and bits in that way. Allows you to selectively take colours for the pixels that you're going to be carving into blocks. Cool? Cool. Right. Moving on. Foam Fix Anarchy. Why not Foam Fix Normal? Because I kind of trust Ace. And if Anarchy is what seems to be working, and we're using it now, and nothing's complaining, then I'm happy to use the Anarchy version rather than the non-invasive version, which reportedly still has gains, but not as many gains as Foam Fix Anarchy. So we're using Foam Fix Anarchy. We're also using Forestry. Got my list in front of me, so forgive me for the whole pausing as I look down to read off my list. I don't know why some of the things are dark at the moment, but Forestry's in here. Bees and multi-block farms and multi-block greenhouses. Yeah, I didn't know that that was in Forestry now, but it is. So that's all part of that. And then full screen windowed, which I'm using right now, not that you can tell. For some reason, around about 1.8, you could no longer have a full screen window version of Minecraft, which is very odd. So that's gone back in with a mod. We have Guide API, if only because of blood magic. Guide API is just a way for people to easily make guides. We have my mod. Yeah, Homecraft Mineware. So Homecraft Mineware made with Atomic Blom and me. Atomic Blom did all the code, I did all the art, but got some cool furniture and stuff for you guys to play with. And we're going to have more too, because we've got a Doors update coming out soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll definitely be in the pack by the time the pack uses it. But you got these nice big double bed with canopy. You got this item barrel, a liquid barrel, and an upper drawer and a lower drawer, bedside table, and these aren't lit. And the reason these aren't lit is because you have to light them. But a candle holder and a lantern, and the doors, just to let you know what's coming your way. I'll use a different colour so it doesn't blend in. We're going to have the tower door, which is 1 wide and 4 high. We're going to have the grand door, which is 1 wide and 3 high. And then we're going to have the inner gate, which is 3 high and 2 wide. And that's going to be what's in the Doors update. And yes, you will have them in all the different wood types, which is what's actually taking me the longest to get the Doors update ready, is because I have to do all the textures for 3 different kinds of doors and all the different kinds of vanilla Minecraft wood. So look forward to Homecraft Mineware. Then we've got Item Scroller. Item Scroller is pretty necessary if you ask me. If you're not going to be using inventory tweaks, which we are not, then you're probably going to want Item Scroller if you ask me, because Item Scroller is life. Item scroller lets you scroll things around with your scroll button. It's pretty straightforward, right? It also lets you do some other things, but I'm not as familiar with them. And we've got JEI, if that wasn't obvious. And JEIBs, which lets you see what you need to be able to do B stuff. This wouldn't be in JEI normally. Then we've got Journey Map, which is also obvious right there in the top right corner. And Just Enough Resources, which is a little bit of an add-on for JEI. And if I go to say like ore, iron ore, and say how do I make this? Get out of here, craft window. How do I make this? And we can go to here, and it will tell us where you can get it. You can get it at Y54 is the highest amount you'll find it. Pretty neat. So then you can have Literal Ascension, which is just rad as heck. Check this stuff out, yo. You can have step ladders. Walk up them, walking up the step ladder, yeah. You can have ropes. Okay, maybe ropes don't work on leaves. Physics. Why do you have to get in the way? Which, as you can see, I just laid out the entire rope by clicking the top block. And, more importantly, and you can just do it like this. And now I have a ladder. And if I also break these, I can still climb it. There's nothing behind it and I can still climb it. Oh my god. And you got the carving tool, which is also extra awesome. Which you can go up to this here rock face and be like, yo, I want some ladders in you. And now you can climb them if I wasn't flying. So imagine I climb the side of that. That's Literal Ascension, and it is literally awesome. I'm really excited about that because I've always thought that Minecraft could do with some vertical traversal of better kinds. Light level overlay. That's light level overlay. That's what it does. It's basically the 1.8 plus version of what NEI used to give us. I like it more because it's more obvious, right? So anything that is yellow is going to spawn during the night. Anything that's green is never going to spawn, and anything that is red will spawn all the time. And it gives you the specific number of the block, which can be really useful for, say, mushroom farming. We've got Melissus doors, which, I don't know, it's not redundant, but it's going to get towards redundant once the doors update for Homecraft Mineware gets in there. But a lot of people like Melissus doors because it provides things like sci-fi doors, which is pretty rad. And it has the Doom door opening sound, which is nice and nostalgic for a lot of people. It has gigantic doors too, which is nice. It's nice to see more people having gigantic doors because a lack of gigantic doors is silly. Minecraft has these stupid 2-block high doors and that's all you have. Everything else you have to do with the freaking piston. It's not acceptable. And then of course you can make custom doors with Door Factory. We've got Melissus switches, which are these, which you can do all sorts of stuff with, but I won't get into the extra stuff. This is a toggle switch, well they're both toggle switches actually, rather than like buttons or whatever. It's either on or it's off. It's like a lever, I guess, in that fashion. But there you go. We got these relay things because you can do kind of like wireless connections without having to have redstone. flying all over the place to make your switches work. Then we've got mine menu. Now let me see if I can remember how to access that. Again, this is alpha, so I haven't actually set up all the options for controls and things. But let's find mine menu in here, and then we will know. Movement, multiplayer, placement, quark, I have tools, tick board, my probe, what's that slot, JEI? Where are you, mine menu? I can't remember. Let's find you in here, mine menu. Menu. Whoops. Select. No. Toggle. False. That's what it looks like. One of these buttons around here makes the menu open. I'm sorry, Dylan. I didn't pay attention in class. But it allows you to have a radial menu for selecting things off. It's really handy, and you can program the buttons on the radial menu. And even though I can't show you right now because I'm useless, I assure you it's the best thing ever. So, it's mine menu. We're at 36 minutes. Oh, I better speed things along. Morpho tool. It's by Varsky as well, as a Kashik tone, but Morpho tool. Morph. Let me just find a wrench. Any old wrench. Let's take the smart wrench for example. So I'm pretty sure this will work. You put the Morpho tool and the wrench, and you get the Morpho tool, and you do the thing. I can't remember how to force it, but if I got a RF tools, nope, if I got a endogenic generator, for example, endogenic, this is revealing all sorts of mods. I'm still going to go through the list and tell you what they are, and then put the Morpho tool over it. It automatically switches to a smart wrench. Look away, or look at a vanilla block, turns back into a Morpho tool. It's pretty rad. So that's what Morpho tool does. Very useful. You can't do things like put picks or anything in it. It's just to make sure that you can have all your wrenches on you and it not take up all your inventory, which is less of a problem because we have dual hotbar. Right. Open modular personal defenses. Open modular personal defenses is things like hardened blocks and fences, because chain link fences are awesome. Look at that stuff. It's a chain link fence. Isn't it wonderful? It's pretty tricky to place. That doesn't matter, and it's got different tiers of them, which I imagine is just more defense as you go on. Open modular passive. Yeah, it's just these ones. And hardened blocks, which are made with gravel, sand, cobble. And then to upgrade them, you put some hardened blocks with some polished diorite. And to make fences of different varying qualities, you put it in that pattern. So fence tier 1, cobble, iron, gold. How do you tell the difference between them? This was pretty neat. I thought anyway. We put them side by side. You start to see how you can tell the difference. That one's iron. It has barbs on it. This one is obsidian. Has black barbs on it. This one is gold. It has gold barbs on it. So that's fun. And then we have open modular turrets. Open modular turrets. So open modular turrets lets you build turrets. I quite like this one when I played that one thing that I put on the channel. I can't remember the name of. Wow, why'd that happen? What's going on? Is that, you not happy with that? Do I need this one? Yeah, that's the one I need. Alright. So that's what happens when you use the wrong turret base. It refuses. Pop straight off, and if you're in creative mode you get lots of them. But it lets you make turrets which automatically shoot at enemies. It's fun. And you can power them in several different ways, from a hand crank to providing them with energy to, I think there's even other silly ways of powering them. You can even make rocket launchers. You can make disposable item turrets which shoot items that you're not using at enemies. Make a potato cannon turret which shoots potatoes. Gun turret which shoots bullets which you have to craft. Incendiary turret which shoots bullets you have to craft. Grenade launcher which shoots grenades you have to craft. Relativistic turret, I've never used that one. Rocket launcher turret, shoots rockets that you have to craft. Teleporter turret, never used that one either. Laser turret, probably shoots lasers. And railgun turret, which shoots magnetic pellets. Which are somewhere around here. Ferromagnetic slugs, which do a ridiculous amount of damage. So that's fun. Wondering why I'm doing time set day and then just not holding the time. It's because I'm lazy. Then we have Pam's Harvestcraft. At Pam's, if you don't know what Pam's is, adds ridiculous amount of crops. Adds some handy cool things like candles and woven cotton, which counts as leather for crafting reasons. You can make wool and woven cotton. I don't know why those exist in Pam's, where you can take like an amount of single items and then it just creates a stack. I don't know why Pam has that, but it exists for most stuff. It has these bushes which get added to the world. And a big shout out to Mez and Pam, because Mez helped Pam fix a little generation issue that was happening with gardens, which is fixed now, which is great. It lets you make all this kinds of different food, which is really good for another mod I'm going to mention later on, which I mentioned earlier, but I'm still going to mention it because it's on my list. Placeable items. Now this doesn't work for all items, but it does work for most vanilla items. You can place a potato in the world if you want to, or if you're feeling particularly frisky, you can place a bottle, or you can place some iron ingots. These ones are pretty cool. I like doing this one because you got 1 ingot. Oh, okay, maybe 1 ingot, 2 ingot, 3 ingot, 4, 5, 6. Cool, huh? Neat. So placeable items is just lets you place a lot of vanilla items to decorate with. It's fun. I don't think you can do it with everything. Definitely sure you can't. Yep, there we go. Proven. And then we got placement preview. This one's pretty great. If I hold control, it will show me where that's going to place. That's fun. And it'll do it for everything. I see it'll do it for everything. There you go. That's handy for me when I'm trying to figure out where I want to put a thing, and all I've got is the little black box that happens when you put your mouse over a surface. Then we got platforms, which is fun. It's hard to show off in a very brief amount of time, but it lets you make cool traversing thingies, because that's always a lot of fun. This is what I mean by it's hard to show off, because it takes a certain amount of time to get it right. Oh, it's part of chisel. You got something from Better with Mods. But you got the platformer, which lets you customize things. You can say, what do you want to build? Do you want to build a bunch of rails or handrails or whatever, and then you put your materials in here. One of these is a material slot. I can't remember which. Who knows? So it lets you make cool platforms, basically, and the less you have to do finicky chiseling, the better, because while I love chiseling, if you can save some time, why not, right? Pressure pipes. I've always loved this mod, and I will love it till the end of my days. Pressure pipes lets you put pipes and stuff, and it's cool. It's by Bijou, and these are instant transportation pipes for liquid. And they have some pretty complex things that you can do with them. I think at the moment it doesn't seem to have... Oh yeah, there's the rest of it. Should probably put the @ to try and find the whole mod, huh? You can make tanks, and you can use this thing. This thing is amazing. This thing lets you... I can't remember how you use it. But basically it allows you to select a liquid without actually needing the liquid with you when doing things like filters. Really handy. And then we've got Quark, which you've kind of seen all around you. Quark is one of those things that are hard to show off because it's lots of small things everywhere. But it's world gen, it's items, it's mobs, it's Quark. See, I love Vesky, and while I don't have all that much room in my heart for Botania, I will always have room in my heart for Quark, because it lets you do things like different wood types of chests, and different wood types of trapdoors, and different wood types of different things, and certain blocks that should have been made into stairs you can make into stairs, and it's just wonderful. Then we've got recurrent complex. I don't know whether we've seen any recurrent complex, but it's kind of all around us. These bigger trees, for example, are recurrent complex. These ones and that one, that's recurrent complex, and that's actually roots, which we'll get to. But where's something more in your face from recurrent complex? All the fancy trees are kind of in your face, to be fair. It livens up the world quite a bit. This is something we've been having a lot of issues with this pack. It's weird. There's been a lot of lag, a lot of world generation lag, and we've been trying to hunt it down. And Mez, bless his heart, has been informed of a lot of mods that were contributing to that issue when I talked to him about things that were happening as I was building the first alpha for this, and then went on a rampage talking to different mod developers. This is from Recurrent. It's like Spire of Marble. As you can see, the server is struggling. The one probe can't even tell me all the details on things at the moment because of how slow it's going. But this is also from Recurrent, this thing here. I think I'll go sit somewhere so the server can catch up. And this is single player, by the way, which is really like worrying in terms of that. But we'll talk about that going forward, and hopefully a lot of that will get ironed out as the days go by and 1.11.2 becomes more popular. RF tools control, and RF tools dimensions. So basically McJitty's entire back catalogue. I don't have the power gen from McJitty in here, just because I didn't think it really fit with the mod pack personally. But I do have those three, and those three are wonderful, in my opinion. So those are in the game. If you're not familiar with RF tools and the subsidiaries thereof, I highly suggest you go find out. We have Roots 2. Roots 2 kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. A lot of people were familiar with Roots 1, which was quite popular in my own books and featured on Forgecraft even. Another mod by Illucent, by the way. But at some point, apparently Illucent decided, I want to redo this, and started doing Roots 2, which is cool. Roots 2, let's see if I can find something from Roots too. Oh look, here's my... This is the thing that I was working on when I was trying to show you guys attain drops, which is handy because now I know where a fairy pool is. That's right, fairy pool. Although it seems all the fairies have decided they don't want to hang out in the fairy pool anymore. Either that or it's lag induced. But a fairy pool has these nice particles hanging out over it, and it usually has fairies. And there's also sprouts and all sorts of other things that you can do in Roots. Roots even has its own kind of thatch, which is cute. As you can see, everything's going super slow and chuggy. I can't even get the thatch out of this menu. So, oops. I guess let's turn it to day if and when things catch up a little bit. Who knows? I'll keep going as we go. As you can see, it's kind of weird, the lag as well, because I seem to be able to move around just fine. So, Roots. Sound filters. Sound filters I would show you immediately at work, but I can't because this has gone all laggy. It's all laggy. Something has obviously gone on that's recursive at the moment, because otherwise we would actually see these chunks being able to build themselves out. Got Spartan shields. Spartan shields basically just adds more shields to the game, and it even adds shields based on popular mod metals, and even has some specifically for certain mods. So we have one for Ender IO and one for RF tools, or two for Ender IO and two for RF tools. So that's cool. I really like that one. We have Spice of Life. Spice of Life means that you can't just live off potatoes forever. You actually have to mix up your meals, which is why cooking for blockheads is going to be really useful to you, because it means you're going to be able to make all kinds of different things with all the different crops and stuff that you're producing without having to remember any recipes or bother doing them in a crafting grid. It kind of just streamlines things. So Spice of Life, and then we got storage drawers. Super favourite of mine. It's just a very nice looking version of barrels basically, and has different more interesting kinds of things that you can do with them. And then we've got super crafting frame. As you can see, that day command still has not gone through. Super crafting frame lets you make super crafting frames, which let you store recipes in a frame, and then when you right click the recipe, if you have the materials in your inventory, it will give you the output. Super item frame, which is basically just an item frame, right? These ones are actually kind of like barrels, these item frames here. You got super teleportation frame, which I might actually be disabling. Ooh. And you got super XP frame, which I won't disable, lets you store XP. And you got super breeding frame, which helps you breed animals in an area. And you got super incineration frame, which is basically a trash can. Then we got Tech Reborn. And before I go on with that, I'll be right back. I tell you, at least it loads up nice and fast. Now, where were we? I don't think the... chugging. It's chugging. That's right, the chugging is expected. Just loaded the world and trying to move while it's sorting itself out. But here's the fairy pool again. Let's see if the fairies are back. Doesn't look like it, does it? Anyway, Tech Reborn. Tech Reborn is tricky. It's like GregTech IC2 for the new age of 1.10, which is interesting because IC2 and GregTech both still exist, but Tech Reborn is what we have right now, and it looks fancy as heck because it has textures done by Cyanide X, who is a brilliant texture artist. So it looks nice and it's fun, and it's high tech, and lets you do all stuff. It's kind of based off Grid Tech 3, I think. Is that? Or Grid Tech 4? As I understand it. Then after that, oh, also Tech Reborn has a whole lot of world generation. Can't show you it all, but it's there. Also, recurrent complex, recurrent complex, recurrent complex. Recurrent complexes everywhere. Then we got the One Probe, which has been here the whole time. One Probe is what I would like to enforce upon your people, enforce my will upon you, for what Walia like I enjoy. So there you go, Tech Reborn, the One Probe. And then we got Tough as Nails, which is what adds thirst, temperature, and less health. So you start the game with 5 health total. And there is a hardcore version which makes you start with 3 Zelda hearts. But I am not going to inflict that upon you. You can get the kind of normal mode version. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? Then we've got Weird Engadget, which is kind of extracted directly from Steam and Steel, which is still being created, by the way. And put together by Atomic Blom. It's not looking too healthy right now, is it? But it's a mod loader. A mod loader? Chunk loader. As you can see, it's spinning because I placed it. Well, this looks weird. So the Weird Engadget is basically, it loads a 3x3, so 9 chunks total, area around the player, or around itself. And as long as that spindle on top is spinning, it's on. And the reason that's important is because it has a timer. If on a server, a player who placed their Weird Engadget is not on for a long time, then the spinner will stop, and it means it's stopped chunk loading until that player logs back on. This is something that a lot of people have wanted. Oh, here we go, the fairy pool is lit up. It's cute little fairies, look at these cute little darlings. Hey, how you doing? Hey friendo. So yeah, that's Roots 2 being cute. Roots 2 is very cute so far. So the Weird Engadget, a lot of people have wanted it for a long time, where people have incredibly complex bases, it chunk loaded it all to hell, and then they never play again. But the server still has to deal with the base being there and chunk loaded, right? So this means that there is a limit on how long it will be loaded, and I cannot remember what Atomic Bomb set the Weird Engadget to stay loaded for. I think it's about a week. I think it'll stay active for about 7 days, and then 7 days while you're not there, and then on the 8th day it will turn off until you log back in again, and then it starts all over again. And then we have Wolf Armor. So let's grab a Wolfie. Hello, Wolfie. You're my friend now, because I'm going to give you bones. There we go. And Wolf Armor is simple. It lets you put armor on your wolf. Cash me outside. How about that? If we want to, we can have a diamond wolf too. Let's have a diamond wolf. Hello, diamond wolf. You are super protected now. Isn't that neat? So this helps make wolves kind of less useless. At wolf. I can't. Maybe it's a chest. Maybe it's a chest. You can stick. There we go. Stick the saddlebags on them. Isn't that neat? And they have six storage slots, which you can use to your will, which is pretty neat. So super armored dog with saddlebags. It's cute as heck. And then finally, last but not least, I think I might need to get into survival mode for this one. Let's grab a furnace. And then let's stick myself in survival mode. And then if I press P with my mouse over a certain slot, it will tell me what can go in that slot. What's that slot is the name of the mod. And as you can see, it's not going to tell me what can come from an output because it's basically anything that a furnace can make. But I can put a lectern in here apparently. I did not know that. Put any of this stuff in here. According to this. I suppose that makes sense. Anything that will fit in the top slot, which is like literally anything, I believe. But this one I'll show you just... I don't know, I actually think it's maybe confused. Maybe that needs an update. Whatever. It's cool in concept and I wanted it, so there it is. So hopefully that can get fixed before this thing goes live. Isn't it handy that I'm showing you this video while it's an alpha, because bugs don't even matter right now. So, finally is the mods that are going to go in here for right now, which actually are not available, but I know will probably be available by the time this goes out to you guys. That is Immersive Engineering for 111, 111.2 that is, Animalia, which is a mod that's just come out from Purplicious Cow and Razzleberry Fox, and ATG2 by TTFT Cuts. If you don't know what ATG1 was, it's a mod that basically shapes the landscape into being far cooler. What the heck is going on here? Far cooler than it ever was. Oh, look, it's Roots 2. This is what I mean by Roots being so cute. Look at all the cute crap in Roots. It's like deers with antlers and deers without antlers. I guess that means you're a boy and that's a girl. But, yeah. What was I? ATG2 basically shapes the landscape into being more realistic and more lovely in my experience. If you watched my very, 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 very first, which now is so horrible quality, I cringe to think about it, version of the Let's Play on the channel, the Dwarf Fortress was on an ATG1 map. So if you are one of the people that watched that, you will kind of know what ATG is all about. So hopefully, fingers crossed for those things coming out. Now, that's the mods over. It only took 1 hour and 5 minutes according to my audio recording here. It's not so bad. My voice is getting a little painful, but that's okay. I'll take care of it after I've talked to you guys. So, Craft Tweaker. Do I craft the experience of the mod pack in a way which I see fitting and linear for the mod? For example, do I stop you getting into Tech Reborn without first getting to getting through better with mods, right? Do I want you to go through tech tiers? Do I start you doing things like do I make you get to blacksmithing in better with mods so that you can create steel, so that you can start making things in Tech Reborn, right? Do I do that level of interference with Tweaker, or do I kind of just do what I'm doing now and use Tweaker to remove potential conflicts, to make things more convenient between mods, working together, like if there's chalk from one mod and chalk from another, do I make them recognize each other, that sort of thing? What do you guys believe I should do? Should I go whole hog on this and like go to that extreme level of interference with Craft Tweaker, or would you prefer I kept it at a level which was just preventative, was trying to avoid conflicts between mods, that sort of thing. Let me know. Do you want a crafted experience, or do you want a polished experience? Not that a crafted experience wouldn't be polished, but you get what I mean. I can say it 100 different ways, and I can only hope that one of them makes sense to you. Second thing is beta testing for the pack. What I want to try and do, and I hope I can organise this, but I'm not familiar on how to do this kind of thing. I want to create a beta testing server for my patrons, because I haven't really done much of anything for patrons specifically. My patrons have been donating out of the goodness of their heart, not expecting anything particular out of me, for like the last forever, and that's wonderful. But I think it's time I gave back to you guys for all the extra help that you've given me to actually like literally survive and do this, right? So I want to open up a beta testing server for my patrons, but I'm not sure how to go about that. So I guess stay posted, but know that that is something that I really, really want to do. Because not only does that help me make sure that all the bugs are ironed out in the pack, it also hopefully lets you guys have some fun on a beta testing server together as a community, as a RoraxPlays community on the RaxPack 2, which I think sounds pretty dang sweet. On that topic, I also want to put together a Discord server for patrons. I will also have a guest channel on that Discord where non-patrons can come and hang out, but they won't have access to voice. They'll only have access to text, and they won't have access to the inner sanctum of what the patrons have access to. So those are some plans. So next two questions are pretty important. After hearing about an hour of the mods that are in RaxPack 2 so far, what do you think is missing? First of all, what do you think is missing? Hello, Embers Golem. This is a golem from Embers. He has a lot of health. What do you think is missing, and what do you think should be removed? Do you think there's anything that I've put in the pack so far which doesn't seem very fitting, or interesting, or unlike me? Like, for instance, if you thought that Tech Reborn didn't sound very RaxPacky, you can suggest that I take RaxPack, take RaxPack 2 out, take Tech Reborn out. Or if you think that there's a mod that I have overlooked that you think is pretty awesome that should be in the pack, please, 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 please suggest it. However, there is certain mods that I am going to put my foot down on in terms of putting them in the pack. That will be things which are incredibly popular on their own right now. There is already mods in here which are incredibly popular on their own right now. But I want to avoid it being everything and the kitchen sink. So, because I want to shine a light on some other stuff that's around, you know? So I'm not going to put refined storage in there. I'm not going to put applying energistics if that comes up, if either of those things come out. I'm not going to put thermal expansion if that came out, for example. I'm not going to put basically the mods that a lot of the mods that you see everywhere. Try to avoid as many of those as possible. But as I say, there are some incredibly popular mods in here, obviously, like Quark and stuff. Quark and Forestry and Chisel and Chisels and Bits. Technically, those two are really popular at the moment. So yeah, we've got enough super popular stuff. So suggest some mods you think I should put in here. Suggest some mods that you think I should remove. You don't have to suggest either of those if you don't think you have any answers for me. That's fine too. If you like the sound of the mod pack the way it is with the current mod set, give me a thumbs up and let me know I made an awesome selection. And yeah, just Just again, let me know whether you think I should have a lot of interference with Craft Tweaker or as little interference as possible. That would be awesome. So, an hour of telling you what was in RaxPack 2 so far. 12 minutes of telling you this stuff. Let me know what you think. Thank you all for listening. And have an awesome night. If it's night time for you, it is for me. Catch you later. Bye.